Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Dai, and today I'm sharing with you my first impressions on the Monochrome Manga Club selections for the month of August. So the Monochrome Manga Club is an in-real-life manga club that I host at a local Barnes & Noble, where we read 2 first-in-a-series selections, and we're currently doing 2 full series reads. So our selections for the month of August were Mao, Volume 1 by Rumiko Takahashi. This one's published by Viz, rated older teen. We also read Volume 1 of The Valiant Must Fall by Yu Aida. This one is published by 7 Seas, rated older teen. And then our series reads include Delicious in Dungeon by Hiroko Kui. We read Volumes 11 and 12. This one is published by Yen Press, rated older teen. And then we are also reading Assassination Classroom, so we read Volumes 15 and 16. This one is by Yusei Matsui, published by Viz, rated older teen. So as we are not at the very beginning for Delicious in Dungeon or Assassination Classroom, I will not be sharing my thoughts with you on those volumes here. But if you're interested in hearing what I thought about those volumes, you can check out my DCIS 19 diaries for the week. So let's get started with my thoughts on The Valiant Must Fall. So this is a historical manga where we're following a former samurai after the fall of the Tokugawa shogunate. And he is kind of on one last mission. And so he tries to assassinate a government official, and in the process of doing that, he ends up not only failing, but ends up at the mercy of the person that he was trying to attack. And so that person actually ends up being an immortal, and she recruits him to help her cause instead of killing him. And so in this story, we follow them like trying to figure out how to accomplish what she wants to get done, and learning things about her and him as we go along. So this volume is very, very steeped in Japanese history. So it tells you things that had happened in that time frame. And so for me, as someone who knows a little bit of what had already happened in Japanese history during that time, I found the way that the story was laid out to be a little bit repetitive, because they do kind of repeat things a couple times. At least that's how I felt. I know that when we were talking with our manga club members, a lot of them didn't really know a lot about Japanese history. So for them, it felt more like they were like learning about the history alongside trying to like enjoy this story. And so it kind of slowed down the story for them. I also didn't quite enjoy the revelation that occurs later in this volume, and I'm not going to say what it is for spoilers, but there's a revelation that we get to about midway, I would say, through this volume. It's something that really probably should be labeled as a trigger warning at the beginning of this volume, but it's not. And for what that is, I don't think that I will be continuing with the series. It gave that kind of feeling to me where I kind of don't want to read the rest of what this series had to offer. Now, I was okay with like the historical setting and what was happening at that time and them going on this mission, but when it got down to exactly what our character here on the cover wants to get done, there is a detail that has to do with that I just don't want to continue reading about. So unfortunately, I don't think we will be continuing with this one. I would say in general, this is a historical story that features supernatural elements in it, which is something that I would actually enjoy had it not been for what this character's mission actually entails. So yeah, I don't think any of the people in my manga club are actually going to continue with this one because of the thing that bothered me about the mission that they're on. But I thought the art style was really nice. Like I said, it's steeped in Japanese history, so there are things to learn if you don't know much about Japanese history, especially during that time era, and what the samurai had gone through after the shogunate fell. But unfortunately, because of things that have to do with this mission, I personally will not be continuing with this series. This edition is really, really nice. It's got like the French flaps in it, and it's really, really pretty. But the story inside, unfortunately, just not one for me. So that is The Valiant Must Fall. And since we're reading a historical, we decided to go ahead and read Mao. And so Mao is about a girl who lost her parents when she was younger. All three of them, her mother, her father, and herself, were in a kind of crazy car accident. And she was really, really injured to the point where she had actually died, but they were able to bring her back. And so now a few years have passed and she's now in high school, but it's been kind of a long journey for her. And so she's living with her grandpa, she's going to school, and one day when she's walking with her classmates stop by this place and they're like, oh, have you heard the stories about this place? People say they hear voices and things, and all of her friends are like, no, I don't hear anything, but our character, whose name is Nanuka, does. And when she heads towards the voices that she hears, she ends up passing through a portal that time travels her back to ancient Japan. And there she meets an exorcist named Mao, who is this character here. Mao is investigating something that has personal interest to him. And when she meets him, she gets attacked by a demon. And so Mao ends up helping her to defeat him, and then it kind of sets off the story of Nanuka getting to know Mao and what he's like looking for, and learning about supernatural beings, and she's got something special about herself as well. So I actually quite enjoyed this one, though I will have to say there were quite a few similarities between this story and Inuyasha, which is also a title that is written by Rumiko Takahashi. So I have not actually read the entirety of Inuyasha. I've read like one, maybe 2 volumes before, but I've never continued. Not that I don't want to, just that it's a really long series, and I'm in the middle of a couple of long series right now, and I didn't want to add another one. But I have watched all of the anime and the movies, so I know a bit about the story. And this one installment had several things that were very similar to things that occur at the very beginning of Inuyasha, with how Kagome ends up going through the portal, time traveling, meeting Inuyasha. And there were other things that kind of happened to Kagome that were similar to things in this story that happened to Nanuka, as well as the fact that some of the characters look kind of similar to other characters that are in Inuyasha. So I think it's a good thing that I haven't actually read Inuyasha, because I think if I had, seeing that like art style, Rumiko Takahashi's art style, and bringing Inuyasha to life in the manga format, would have probably put me off of reading Mao just because of the similarities. But because I've only watched the anime, it's not that bothersome to me, I guess. So I'm actually really interested in continuing this with this one. Plus, this has a mysterious feel, which is something that is really pulling for me. I really enjoy reading mysteries. And so, yeah, this feels familiar, but it is different enough where I am interested to continue with this one. At least see how the story progresses and see, as we go along, how different it is from Inuyasha, or if it continues to be, kind of similar. I'd be very interested to discover that as I go along. But I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed the art style. The story was interesting. I definitely have some theories already, And yeah, so I quite enjoyed this one. But before I let you go, I do want to let you know what we will be reading in September. So in September, we had a selection suggestion from one of my Monochrome Manga Club members. And I actually don't have a copy of the manga with me right now. So I'm going to pull up Goodreads and let you know what it is about. So we will be reading Volume 1 of Manga Dogs by Emma Toyama. This one is published by Kodansha, and it's either rated teen or older teen. I am not sure because, like I said, I don't have a copy of this one on me. But this one says, meet the comic relief. Kana Tezuka is a serious 15-year-old manga artist already publishing as a pro. So when she finds out her high school is starting a manga drawing course, even she gets excited. But it's a fiasco. The teacher is useless. The only other students, 3 pretty boy artist wannabes, quickly adopt Kana as their unwilling sensei. But they all have ridiculous delusions about being an artist. And if Kana can't bring them back down to earth, she'll never get any work done. So it says it's a sharp-witted satire of the manga world from the creator of I Am Here and Missions of Love. We have read Volume 1 of Missions of Love for the Monochrome Manga Club, and I do quite enjoy Emma Toyama's art style as well as her storytelling style, so I'm actually really looking forward to this one. This has been a series that I have had on my want to read list for a while, and I believe this series is actually only 3 volumes, so that is great. So I will need to go get myself a copy of that. I do know that my library does offer this one as part of their Hoopla service, so if your library offers Hoopla as part of their digital offerings, definitely check to see if this one is part of your library's catalog if you'd like to read along with us. But then the second volume we will be reading, at least Volume 1 selection, is going to be of Galaxy Next Door by Gido Amagakure. This one is published by Kodansha, rated older teen. There's a little bit of a discrepancy on the rating on this one because the back of the physical copies that I have says older teen 16 plus. But the Kodansha website says that it is teen 13 plus. So I'm not sure what the actual rating is. I would think that it's what the current website says, which is teen 13 plus. And I decided to pair this one up with Manga Dogs because this one also has to do with a manga artist. So this one says, Princess meets manga artist. Ever since their father died, Ichiro Kuga has struggled to support his 2 younger siblings on nothing but a small inheritance and his passion for drawing manga. But with all his responsibilities, it's becoming harder to keep up with deadlines after his last 2 assistants quit to follow their dreams. Just as he's nearing his breaking point, the beautiful and scarily competent Shiori Goshiki applies to become his new assistant. But there's something almost otherworldly about Goshiki, and soon Kuga finds his reality turned upside down when she suddenly declares them engaged to marry. So this says, a sweet new story of first love from the creator of the hit manga and anime, Sweetness and Lightning. So I actually have not read Sweetness and Lightning yet. It is another one of those series that I do really want to read. But maybe it's a good thing that I haven't read Sweetness and Lightning yet, and I'll get to experience this one fresh for the first time as my first title from this mangaka. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really been enjoying having themed reading for the manga club selection, so that's been interesting. And so yeah, we'll see how long that keeps up. But alongside that, we will be continuing with our series reads. So we will actually be finishing Delicious in Dungeon in September with volumes 13 and 14. I'm really excited. This has been a really interesting journey. We definitely had a really good discussion at our last manga club meeting about the things that had happened in volumes 11 and 12. And with just 2 volumes left to go, I'm interested to see how this one's all going to wrap up. But that also means that we will be choosing another series to read for October. So that's exciting as well. So we'll be finishing up Delicious in Dungeon, and then we'll also be continuing our series read of Assassination Classroom with volumes 17 and 18. We're getting close to the end on this one as well. Really enjoying it, just so that you know. And so yeah, if you'd like to join us on any of our reads, you can definitely do so by commenting down below on any of these first impression videos, or you can join us in our Discord, which is linked down in the description box below. So let me know down in the comments below if you've read these volumes, what you thought of them, and if you'll be joining us for September's reads. And if nothing else, you'd just like to let me know that you were here. If you could leave me, is there a sword emoji? There might be a sword emoji. That would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.